Santa Retires by David Biedryzcki. Just because I wear a red suit and make toys, everybody thinks I'm jolly. Oh, I'm happy when I'm making toys, but when I have to deliver them, forget it. Sacks are getting bigger, chimneys are getting smaller, and you never know what the weather will throw at you. Then one day after Christmas, Mrs. Claus showed me something we got in the mail. We liked what we saw. We packed our bags, put the elves in charge, and kissed the reindeers goodbye. Come to Mistletoe Island. Mrs. Claus and I went to the airport and waited in line, but we didn't want anyone to recognize us. I thought we looked pretty cool. It was hot and sunny when we arrived at Mistletoe Island. I was feeling better already. Mr. Tinsel showed us around the place. He said I reminded him of someone, but he couldn't remember who. I couldn't wait to hit the pool. It had been a long time since I had been in a swimming pool. It had been a long time since I've done a cannonball. I needed to lose weight. So we started playing tennis. Mrs. Claus was really good. Boing! We did lots of yoga. We went for long walks on the beach. We even took a dance lesson. We were eating well and getting in shape. This was the life. Mrs. Claus and I talked about making Mistletoe Island our new home. Then the reindeers showed up. They wanted to party, but I had a better idea. I took them surfing. Rudolph couldn't hang tang. But we had to rescue Blitzen. Cowabunga, dudes! That night, Mrs. Claus served up a healthy meal. I figured it was perfect time to tell the reindeers I was going to retire. They didn't take the news well. The reindeer sadly went back to the North Pole. Mrs. Claus and I went back to swimming, surfing, and yoga. But things just weren't the same. I missed my team. I tried taking a cooking class, but I wasn't very good at making souffle. I wasn't very good at tennis either. I was good at making toys, and I just wasn't jolly anymore. That's when I picked up a newspaper. Things were looking good at the North Pole. The newspaper said, Santa retires, elf not getting job done. Mrs. Claus and I headed straight to the airport. When we arrived at the North Pole, we found the reindeers wouldn't eat. The toys were missing parts or had too many parts. And the sleigh had become home to a family of polar bears. Mrs. Claus and I rolled up our sleeves and got to work. By Christmas Eve, the reindeer were ready. So were the toys and the sleigh. It was a beautiful sight. I was feeling jolly again. I decided not to retire just yet, but we decided to take a vacation every year. Mistletoe Island, here we come. The end. Finished book.